It's the Forever and a Day show. We're looking for somebody to start our intro. Until then, you got me singing. It's the Forever and a Day show. It's the Forever and a Day show.
Hey,
Come
happy
on,
Friday. Happy Friday, everyone. It's good to see you guys.
Friday Eve.
It is definitely good to see you guys. I see that Sean has his notifications on.
Is that a good or bad thing?
It doesn't matter.
All right.
How y'all doing?
We're rocking out with the notifications.
Happy Friday. Friday. Happy Thursday Eve.
That's what I was wondering. I'm like, I lost the whole day.
That's what it seemed like.
Welcome to the Forever and a Day show. Sean and Antoinette of Forever and a Day Publishing, LLC, where we focus on God, family, career, and finances. Thank you for being here. Tonight is episode 37. Cornell Lake, I think, was number 37 on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Back in the day, I always try to associate a number with somebody great from the city. Today's title is...
You didn't say anything about Jerome Bettis last week. Jerome Bettis, the best player ever to know the man.
Last week, episode 36, Jerome Bettis, the bus episode. You're right. And correct me if 37 is wrong, somebody else's number. Today's show is titled Give Love Daily. Give love Give love daily. All right, I'm working on it. All right. Be sure to catch all of our episodes at FAAD LLC on our business pages. That is Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're going to have a YouTube sooner or later, so you know what I mean? Keep up the good work, checking out all of our episodes, chiming in, and sending us all of those emails. And I love Antoinette's facial expressions.
I don't have enough.
Sometimes I gotta look at them too. Better go ahead.
All right.
And
So as any episode, we are going to open with prayer. Not today, Lord. I just need it to be a smooth episode. So, Father God, Lord, we come to you right now as humbly as we know how. Just thanking you for this Thursday, for this Friday Eve, Father.
Yes,
I ask that you just encourage all that are watching our show today, that they learn how to give love daily to their mate, to their husband or wives, to their significant other, Father God. I do ask that if there's anyone who is going through today, Father, I ask that you remove any doubt, shame, fear, anger, uneasiness, Father. I ask that you remove those in your Son, Jesus Christ's holy name, we pray.
In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Remove them, Father God.
So last week we talked about how to support. Episode 36 was how to support daily. So we were doing this daily series over the past, I think, about 5 or 6 weeks. And last week was support daily, and this is our last part of our series with the give love daily. Yep. So the format of our show for this series have been the same. We've gone over the definition of intentionality. And then we tapped into 3 tenets to focus on for our episodes. And if you guys have joined, we do encourage you to say hello, give a thumbs up, a heart, at least let us know that you are in the building. We're just ever so thankful and happy that you decided to join us again on this Thursday evening.
Thank you for being here with us.
For sure. So let's go ahead and get started. Intentionality. We talk about being intentional in our interactions with one another, whether you're at work or in your relationship. Intentionality is a noun, which means to be deliberate or to be purposive. We have to, with this episode, as far as giving love daily, we have to love and demonstrate love to each other daily, right? We have to be proactive and intentional in this interaction.
That's right.
Right? Yep.
And everything we're talking about making sure that, you count the cost, but you really assess and do it deliberately. So 3 major actions to place into your everyday routine. Not a lot. You got breakfast, lunch, dinner. You wake up, you have a noonday, you have an evening. So kind of think of 3 opportunities to place these strategies into your daily routine to ensure that you're demonstrating love for yourself, because you actually do have to do it through loving yourself and one another and in your marriage.
So the first major action that we identified for how we can give love daily is making your spouse a priority, right? So hear me out. Everything else becomes a priority in our lives. You know, if you're a mom, and I'm speaking for me, so if you're a mom and you're a wife and you're a working woman, etc., we have to prioritize. It seems like everything else seems to be priority over our spouse or over our mate. So it should be God, family. So the family is here. Then it's the spouse, then the kids. Then it's your career, and then it's your finances. That's our order, right? So those of you who are believers know that God is the head. And then, you know, God, family, career, and finances is what our tenets are. Have you identified what your tenets are with your relationship, with your marriage? Are there some things that you feel are out of alignment? Is there a conversation that you need to have with your mate in regards to the alignment for your family and how to make your spouse your priority?
Truly. And even as, you know, we were preparing for this episode and as I was going through my day, again, we talked about it before, but, you know, God in terms of stewardship, God in terms of, you know, he gave me the responsibility as husband and father in that order to, you know, cover my home, cover my family, cover my career, cover my finances. But how do I still manage the Godhead or the Godship in terms of being, you know, a minister of my household and keeping things balanced? Oftentimes I feel out of balance. So doing that intentionally, still a lot of work to do. Then there are justifications. Oh, well, I work 6 days a week. God worked 6 days a week. He only took 1 day off. All right. Well, I'm going to work 12 hours a day, you know, and there's still 12 hours a day. That's 50%. You know, again, so a lot of justification as far as trying to figure out how to balance those things. When we think about, you know, who loses out the most. Well, before we go there, you know, again, thank you, Ashley, for being here and other people who are viewing. If there are questions. Yes.
Oliver, class 96.
Go ahead. That's from South.
Why would I know anybody from South but you?
Shout out to all my South Bow Tech class of 96
talking about
folks
South right now.
So as you think about how you're loving intentionally, please add those comments into the chat. So as we're moving on to the next piece, who loses out the most when everything else is a priority? So again, we assume our spouses will understand, but there comes a time or comes a divide when everyone and everything else becomes a priority.
So very true. So let's just consider, you know, if you have children, right? So as soon as you have children, they do become a priority. As much as you are like, yep, I can balance. I have yet to meet a woman who had children and they were married, and in the earlier parts of their marriage that they were able to find balance of themselves, you know, that self-love, and also the balance of making sure that their mate is a priority. I have not met someone that is quite able to share that with me, that realization with me. So when you do have children, when you do become married, it shifts, right? So the biggest piece is that intentionality. You have to do it on purpose to focus on your mate and focus on the priority, the chain, the order that is necessary for them to become a priority. And in order for them to become a priority, we have to choose our spouse over every earthly relationship. So it could be relationship at work, with your job, with your kids, with your sorority, with your or fraternity. It's the same. It's reciprocal, right, for husband and wives. But ensuring that you choose your spouse over every other earthly relationship. Your mom, your dad, your grandparents, your nieces, your nephews. Like, there's no other relationship that's more important than a relationship you have with your spouse. Yeah. So prioritizing the time to ensure that you value one another is a way that you can ensure that you are prioritizing your time with your mate.
Yeah. I always go back to the unity candle. That's one of the images of being married that really symbolize that, you know, that one flame. You know, of course, you start out with two different flames, but then when you light the unity candle, it becomes one flame. And that flame is to burn eternally, but it's one. It's not divided anymore. Mm-hmm. So as Antoinette spoke about how, you know, we have to forsake all others, that's real. That's a commitment. You know, that's a demonstration of love. You know, it's not, oh, well, I'm turning my back on my family who raised me, or my hood, or my city, or, you know what I mean, those friends I grew up with, went to high school, college, or except myself, peeps. No, I'm playing.
So Shonda even said, like, class of 95 South. What did you, I didn't know you graduated from South. I didn't even know you went to South. You didn't know.
Hands down. Come on, now there's an energy. We know what it is.
All right, so let's prioritize. Mm-hmm.
So yes, understanding that is love demonstrated. Understanding that, again, that pathology that you'll work through in your head, like, you know, am I giving this woman too much of my time? Am I giving this man too much of my time? No, that's a commitment you made when you got married, or, you know what I mean, if you're in a committed relationship, then that's an equal expectation. You know, and if there are things like Antoinette said earlier, as far as needed to be discussed, then have those conversations. Mm-hmm. So through all of this, all of the work that we do starts with communication, and it fails with miscommunication. Mm-hmm. So making sure that you're having those conversations like, all right, babe, I need a day by myself, or, you know what I mean, I'm headed over here, I need some time away. So it's not a slight to your spouse. She or he understands, and again, it's communicated. So intentionally demonstrating love. For example, I'm a newsie. I really could watch the news, be on every other show on TV, you know, documentaries, you know, things like that. Antoinette's not into that. So even in terms of shifting my time and my focus, I have to watch, you know, things that she's interested in too, sharing that time intentionally, be it videos or, you know, things that are on the phone, like TikTok videos or things like that. That's intentional. Now, again, I'm interested in some of it. Some of it is just strictly like, you know, what is it called? Like Ratchet TV or whatever. I'm not interested. But the time together is the important piece. That's intentional.
Ratchet TV.
Not all TikTok.
Okay. Sure. So as far as the priority goes, and just moving forward, I had shared with a couple of people that have shared that they've watched the episodes, etc. And we've encouraged folks to watch the episodes with their mates, with their husbands, with their significant others, so that they can have the conversation with each other to get a better understanding of their mate, right? So here's a question that I would love to pose to you guys to share with your mate, your spouse, your significant other. And while you guys rewatch this together, contemplate, think about, consider this question. Do you feel like you're my priority? So ask your mate, do you feel like I'm your priority? That you're my priority? And I encourage you to listen, do not become defensive, and to be open to any changes that is necessary. Okay? So I'm going to model it. So Sean, do you feel like you're my priority?
Antoinette, I do not feel like I'm your priority.
Mm-hmm. So tell me about that. What is it that makes you feel like I'm not prioritizing you in my life?
I just believe that, you know, through your, you know, your work commitments, that, you know, that takes a lot of your time, which I understand. You know, I think we used the word in our conversations over the weekend, concede. You know, we concede some of your time. You know, and even as a mother, I think that, you know, your time with your children, our children, you know, takes a lot of you. You know, and I believe that your health, physical, emotional, sometimes you need that reprieve, and like, I just need, you know, some time. Where again, I used to be offended. Like, why don't you want to be with me? Or why are you retreating to your room or by yourself? I've learned over the years in being in a relationship with you that it's not about me.
Mm-hmm.
It's about you. So again, it's not a priority for me. I'm not a priority for you in that sense. But I have to learn how to adapt to, you know, who you were and who you are now.
I mean, I definitely hear you on that. As far as me personally, as far as the children, as far as the work, etc. But the purpose is to determine how that we can get back in alignment, because all the things you shared, although they were critical and important and true, the question is, do you feel like you're my priority? And you said no, right? So it's not about you conceding, and it's not about you finding a way to compromise. The compromise isn't necessary. It's about the alignment that I need to put back in place.
Mm-hmm.
So what are some of the things that you need in order to feel that you're my priority?
I like the way you asked that question. So I would say some of the things that I need. I think that really scheduling time together, and it might seem like it's not organic, but being intentional and scheduling times of the day or days of the week where I'm going to be your center of attention and focus, and we can kind of just really be on the same vibration, that would be important to me.
I receive that. Definitely receive that. So, one of the points that I made before I went into the actual intentional asking of the question was to not become defensive, right? And to be open to any changes. So, you know, anything like what you're not doing, right? It's not always the message. It's not always the messenger. It's sometimes the message and how it's presented. But when you open yourself to hear what someone needs of you, you're more open to listen, not be defensive, and to make those changes.
And that's the truth, if I may.
Yeah.
You know, and again, this is organic because Antoinette didn't know what I was going to say. She put herself out there, and most of our conversations with our spouses are organic. They're not scripted. You know, say this, say that, read this line. That's really how.
Even though I wish it was sometimes.
I do too. You know what I mean? I wish I knew what the answer was going to be. Because sometimes I don't want the answer. I'm not ready for the answer. And again, I have to go back to my woosah. You know, where is it? Where's my center? How do I respond? That's a good point in communication. So even with that was organic. But that's how you have to be vulnerable in terms of being truthful in the moment, being honest, being empathetic. Antoinette shared that, again, not being defensive means that you're open to receive and you're open to grow and open to adapt to the situation. Last week, whatever it might have been a totally different situation than your conversation this week. So you have to be flexible as a spouse, either way, as a companion, as a helpmate, so that you understand where your partner is in this conversation. So, yeah.
Great. So this
May I ask you though?
You can ask the next couple of questions. You know,
All right.
The next question.
Got you.
So the next area of focus when we talk about giving love daily is the affection. So these once again are aligned with the 5 love languages, right? From Dr. Gary Chapman. So with affection is defined as having a strong fondness, like just I am highly there's an effect to my interaction. It makes me feel a certain way. It's deep, it's strong, it's passionate. Those are some good words. So Sean, there are a couple of questions that go into how do you demonstrate, or how do you identify the strong fondness, and then how do you demonstrate this deeper level of affection, not this surface, but deeper level of affection.
All right, so ponder that for a minute, because as I'm thinking about it too, go back to love languages. Physical touch and words of affirmation are my 2 love languages. So I'm about to ask Antoinette, the guiding question. So I'm interested in knowing her honest answer. But again, I have to prepare myself if it's not something that I've been thinking about. So how do you, Antoinette, I can break it.
Yeah, you got to change it. Yeah.
Yeah. How do you show me love, or demonstrate, give love? So the question is, how does your spouse receive or feel loved by you? So the question to Antoinette is, how do you give love to me? How do you demonstrate you're giving love to me? And how should I know and feel loved by you?
Yeah, that wasn't the way that I read that. But, so let me think. So how do you receive or feel loved by me? I mean, you answered it. The words of affirmation, like you just answered it. You say love you in your love language. I mean, words of affirmation. That's what I give. Okay, you completed your Cornell class. Specific feedback was given. Boom, made you feel great about it. You contacted your doctor, like Sean, if you can see it on the camera. I don't know what's going on with his eye. It looks a lot better than it did yesterday. It looked like a whole contact. If he wore contacts, a whole contact was sitting on the corner of his eye. So something happened with his eye, sitting over there, ophthalmologist appointment tomorrow. But just the follow through that he had with his ophthalmologist, given, all right, that's good. I'm happy to hear that. Just supporting his clothing choices. Even though they do not seem to be something that I would wear, knowing that he feels confident in it, and sharing with him, like, dude, great outfit choice, without needing, Siani or little Sean or myself to help, just coming out of just, hey, I love the way you handled the situation the other day with little Sean, or just the specific feedback that is being given. That's the way that I demonstrate love to Sean. He said physical touch is his. I try to intentionally, put my hand on his head while we're laying down, or touch him, hold hands while we're in the bed, or while he's driving, smile over and hold his hand for a couple of minutes. And so those are intentional intentionalities that I feel demonstrate that, I'm being loved, because he knows those aren't my love languages. So to create an environment of physical touch and words of affirmation, and those are not my love languages. So of course it would be more comfortable for me to love him the way that I love. So for him to acknowledge the effort, the intentionality, the deliberateness of it, I think that helps to demonstrate or show that I'm trying to love you in your love language, and helping you feel loved. Mm-hmm.
So I hope you see how this is interconnected. Really how, Forever in a Day show is about that interconnectedness and continuation. So it's not just a one-stop shop. It's not just a one thing fits everybody. It's dynamic. So we hope you're using some of these strategies as we are. Mm-hmm. And thank you. And yes, I would agree that the way Antoinette described how she loves me in my love languages, words of affirmation, I'm like, yes, thank you. And again, it's something that's innate. It's inside of me. It's internal. So it's something that I didn't turn on and be like, yeah, I want to be physical touch. I want to be words of affirmation. Those are my love languages. So definitely understand yours. So again, consider that question again intentionally. How are you having these conversations with your spouse, your significant other? How does your spouse receive or feel loved by you? Mm-hmm. And do you understand their love language? And are you operating in their love language, not your own? That's important. Speak to your spouse. And let's say this homework is tonight. And again, our email is open, FAADpublishing@gmail.com. So we would love to hear your feedback and how you're using these strategies throughout the week, or you can actually even watch the video and add it to the chat. So your choice. But speak to your spouse about what makes them feel that you are, right? Your homework, that you are displaying affection toward them and vice versa. Schedule some time. Be intentional. You know, what are you doing tonight? You have anything after work? Let's meet up at a blank spot, you know, for half an hour. You know, have your favorite beverage and, you know, or divorce. Have a conversation.
I haven't heard that in so long. Or divorce.
Throwback.
Anywho, all right. So once you learn, yeah, I want you to make a plan to show affection and be intentional in that plan. I think, in all honesty and all transparency, I think it was yesterday. I think it was last night. I'm not really sure. My days are like running in together. But Sean was saying, like, I just want you to love me in my love language or something. And I'm like, to myself, like, dude, that's reciprocal. Like,
we are yesterday.
It was yesterday.
Subway.
I was just like, really? You be real quick to be telling somebody your love language. But, you know, it's a reciprocal thing. It's always good to receive, but it's also great to give.
And I'll compliment what Antoinette is saying to this extent. If I'm going to be true to myself in terms of the work that I have to do, I can't wait on Antoinette to love me in my love languages if I'm intent on loving her in her love languages. So there has to be I'm going to do it anyway, you first mentality. That's my perspective on it, you know, perception and perspective. So I don't want any spouse out there thinking, okay, it's reciprocal, and the reciprocal means tit for tat. If you do, I'll do. If you don't do, I don't do. Because you're all going to lose. We all are going to lose that way. You know, and again, even in my own work that I have to do, it's like, yeah, I'm going to do that. Oh, man, I missed another opportunity. Oh, I'm going to get on that. Oh, you know what I mean? Another day has passed. So this is the type of work, intentional work, that I'm going to be doing or continuing. And, you know, hopefully we can share these opportunities with you.
And the final tenet that we have for how to demonstrate or give love daily is through different activities. You know, have you ever heard of how opposites attract? Right. So when you have, if you look over your relationship history, right? If you're not with the person that you fell in love with first, right? And you experience different relationships, you'd be like, what the heck did I ever see in that person, right? Like, what? How was I ever attracted to that person? Not physically per se, but more so behavior, goals, aspirations, personality, things like that. So if you ever heard of, you know, opposites attract, please raise your hand, put oh yeah, I know all about it. I've experienced it. With Sean and I, we do have some deep, you know, opposites, right? There's a lot of different opposites that, as we get further and further into our marriage, it's like, why didn't I ask that earlier? Like, why did I not interview a little bit more, when it comes to the relationship? Because it comes out in different ways. Like when you meet someone, they don't get, somebody tried to give me his whole entire life history. Resume. But when you meet, cousin Mike said, yep. Oh yeah. When you meet someone.
What's up, Mike?
You don't see everything up front, right? So it's as they get comfortable, and even over these 24 years, we're still learning each other. Mm-hmm. So our opposites, I'm going to just mention a couple, because it's like, what are those opposites, right? So when you talk to your mate, be like, dude, babe, what are those opposites? Honey, whatever term of endearment you have. So I'm going to identify some. And if you agree, you know what I mean? Just whatever, agree. And if you're like, hold on, you know, definitely add some. So gotcha. for Sean and I, you know, Sean, first of all, Sean is an extrovert. He is he and both of our children, like, they like people. they love to be around people, not more so the center of attention.
Right.
They just genuinely love to be around people. And I genuinely love to be around myself. I am a social introvert.
It's a real thing. There's a whole lot of them. I'm learning. I think y'all have a group on Facebook or something, don't y'all?
No,
y'all don't?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I don't even think I would want to, though, because I still would be more people.
I'm sorry, but go ahead. It's a real thing.
If they're the same as me, I still don't want to be around.
All right, so if you're up to 3, I'm agreeing with.
So our opposites totally attracted. Sean is very talkative, and I will sit back and just listen, and then as soon as I feel like I can then I'll enter in. I'm funny, and Sean is not. He doesn't have a great sense of humor.
I'll agree, but that cracked me up. You know what I mean? And the rule of the game is as long as you make you funny, make yourself laugh, you're good.
I don't know about that. Like, if you're sitting there and you're like, something's not right. He doesn't do it.
Thank you, please.
So, you said as long as you can make yourself funny. But those things, Sean can't cook. He makes amazing hamburgers, and he can cook a mean pot of rice. His chili to die for, ribs, grilling, yeah. But that's about it. Don't ever ask him to make you a steak.
There was this one time,
and it only takes one. It only takes one.
See, TikTok. There we go.
So, there are a lot of opposites.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, Sean is very, I would say for the most part, he's extremely optimistic, right? He's very...
I think we're up to like 5 or 6.
Very frugal. He's extremely frugal. I feel like, you earn the money, you can spend it. I finally got on the bandwagon as far as saving and getting out of debt, things like that. So that's for sure. Some other opposites.
I think we're up to 7.
Yeah, I mean, but no matter what, those things attract. Like, we were able to find so many commonalities, but I don't think the commonalities is what brought us together. It truly was the opposites, when Sean's down, I'm up and I'm pulling, and when I'm down, he's up and pulling. I really do feel that we are equally yoked, and our bond in itself, even though we've been married, there's this thing like, oh, he's my best friend or she's my best friend. I mean, we really do have a friendship.
Let me just break this down real quick. Evenly yoked is so powerful, but I think, some people might know what that means. So if you consider oxen.
Not yoke like
egg yolk. So the yoke is basically the harness on an oxen, a team of ox. Yeah. They pull the wagon. They pull the the plow.
The plow. Mm-hmm.
So if one ox was doing all of the work, then that would be a drain on the other ox. You wouldn't get the work done. You wouldn't get the work done.
Yeah.
So when you think you're evenly yoked, it's really like we're sitting here. It's like, I got your back, you got my back. Yeah. We ready, we in. Heave. Yeah. You know what I mean? Heave, and we're getting this work done. Whether it's with the kids, and we're saying, all right, well, cool. You know what I'm saying? They acting up. So-and-so said something real stupid today. You know what I mean? What am I going to do? What is your thought? What's your thought? All right, this is what we're going to do. Ready, break. Heave. And we deliver that discipline or that message. Yeah. Same thing with finances, as Antoinette said. Same thing with, being in a relationship. You know what I mean? What's your schedule look like? What's my schedule look like? Are we able to afford it? Are we going to go here? Let's plan it. Let's do it. All of that is about being evenly yoked. Yeah. I just need to put that
So Michael had a really good question. He said, do we think separate bank accounts or joint bank accounts? I'm guessing if that is, creates a bond. I'm not sure what the remainder of your question is. Sean and I have a joint account. We've had a joint account since we got married in 2000. So I've had a bank account when I was in high school, and then I went to college. I just had, a basic Mellon Bank card when I used to do my work study. But then when we got married, I was 22 years old. So I don't even think we ever even had the discussion about it. Sean's like, I've had this account with this credit union since I was a teenager, you know, and then that's where, once we moved to Virginia, that was the account that we had. There was really not a conversation. It was just like, this is what you do, right? And so it was like direct deposit into this credit union account, and that's it. Now we have separate accounts. So we have allowance accounts. Sean has a couple other accounts that he's over, like our business account. Maybe one day I'll get information on that. Then, bow. But yeah, we definitely have a joint account, because look, so here's let's go a little bit into
Hold on, no. You've spoken. Let me speak up. Shade is real, all right, but that's cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm grown. To Antoinette's point about the shared account. So to Michael's point, you know, just in my experience, my belief is the fact that it builds equal accountability. You know what I mean? If you're looking at one ledger, one bank account you have access to, then it's not about, you know what I mean, me having a secret account over here, or you got secret money, or you're spending money frivolously. That helps accountability. That's evenly yoked. I mean, what is our plan? What are we doing? How are we building? How are we spending? You even with me? All right. So that's what we're working on in terms of joint bank accounts. And again, the Unity candle was lit. I can't think in my mind that a Unity candle that's lit is going to have a separate account. You pay the cable bill, I'll pay the light bill, I'll pay the gas bill. You pay. For me, it just doesn't make sense.
Make sense to us.
And I've spoken to couples who live, you know, who have separate accounts. Some of them say, I wish I never did that. I wish I did have a joint account with my spouse. And others say, nope, I came into this with my own.
And I'm leaving with my own. I'm like, well, there's no leave. There's no leave. You know, there's no leave.
Yes.
So, I mean, we came into this by ourselves, but when we got into it, we became one.
Right.
So for us in our household, in this house, all up in this house, we have a joint account, and we both monitor it. Like you get your allowance,
right?
You know, every pay we have an allowance. The allowance goes straight to our cards immediately.
And being transparent. So the other account. So we give ourselves a $100 allowance per paycheck, right? So that's $200 a month for us. That works. You can do what you want. You can buy $100 worth of bubble gum if you want with your $100.
Don't matter. Or
you can go get
save.
it. Or you can save.
Yeah.
So over the course of Antoinette's talking about, you know, with her shady self talking about, you know what I'm saying, I got multiple accounts. I do. But that money's all come out of my allowances. So I have an account with Cash App. I think everybody has a Cash App account, which is separate. I got Venmo. I don't know if everybody uses Venmo. I have an account with my fraternity. I have any others? Oh, I have, you know, a local bank account. So that's 4 accounts. But over time, as Antoinette said earlier, I'm frugal. So yeah, I'm intentionally put a couple dollars here, put a couple dollars here, put a couple dollars here, put a couple dollars here.
For what?
Because it's my money.
So what's different than having a separate account? No. Don't do that. So you just said, well, we got the same account, and I don't know how people have their own, but you just named 4 accounts.
4 accounts.
So how
my
is
fraternity,
that not hypocritical?
It's not hypocritical because again, the money that we get in
You're getting loud and
the
strong
money
with your statement.
The money that we have in our joint account covers everything. If I'm talking about $100 per pay, and I got 4 accounts, that's like $20, maybe $25 divided by 4 accounts. If I want to keep stacking money, that's it. So, for example, my fraternity account is to pay for my life membership when I have enough money to pay for it. So there's an earmark, there's a goal that I'm striving for. All right? So the money with Cash App, yeah, Cash App is Cash App. But yeah, I do buy Cash App stock. I'm frugal. These are opposites. Antoinette was like, I'm not doing Cash App stocks or whatever.
Ouch.
I'm not doing, you know, so considering all things, yeah, over the long term, you know what I mean, these are my goals. These are my things that I want to do with my extra little money that I'm going to do. But I'm not taking any money out of my house. I'm not, you know, of course, doing anything that I don't have any business doing as far as, you know, whatever. I don't even know how you would qualify that. But my point is, your joint account in terms of what you want to do as a spouse in a household, I think that's important.
So, Michael, is that what you were asking? I know that was a long answer, but I'm hoping that it made sense in regards to what we do in our household. You know, as we go back to the topic of activities and realizing the opposites and things of that nature, what are some of the things that you can do to build a bond, to build a friendship, you know, with your spouse? Communicating with them. Okay, good. He confirmed it. Excellent. You know, what are some of the things that you can do to start to build the relationship in a friendship? Because some of the folks that I've we've interacted with, they don't consider their mate their friend. That's my husband, that's my wife, but not more so of a friend, being honest, you know, giving feedback, things of that nature. It's just like, we're in this life together and we're experiencing this life together because I think this is what we're supposed to do. So I encourage you guys to find an activity to do together. Let's start building a friendship. When you're friends with someone, you do crazy stuff. You enjoy yourself. You know, watch a movie you've never watched before. Mm-hmm. We love Black cinema, so it's, you know, we go back into the old movies. We, you know, experience like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen this in so long. And then you're like under your breath saying every single line, and your mate's like, what the heck? Where did you know? You know, when did this become one of your favorites? Because it like presented itself. We did axe throwing, right? And when we were there together, the dude that was there with us, he was kind of nerve-wracking. He was getting on my nerves because he talked the whole time like he was a part of our relationship. Like, we're here on a birthday date, and he is just like talking about his skating days like he was on roll bounce. I really didn't need to hear that. However, during the activity itself, Sean and I were able to respectfully like have a conversation mm-hmm. with each other, and we talked about a plethora of things, and I walked away like, yeah, you know, we've been together a long time, over 2 decades, but I'm still learning Sean, and I'm learning how to be honest and to be pure in my intention, and building our friendship, you know. So I encourage you guys just to do an activity together, mm-hmm. build a friendship, and then just when you're done, you know, talk it over, discuss some more options with your spouse, see where you guys are, what you want to experience. You know, I want to do some ATVs sometime soon, maybe in Dubai in October of this year for our anniversary, something like that, just to explore and do together.
Absolutely. Love intentionally. Love every day. Make sure that you really are checking in with each other daily. And even if you don't receive love, give love daily.
Yep. Period. You got to be intentional. You have to be intentional. I think you said one thing that just now resonated with me. It's the whole reciprocity in your love and what you do. And I really do put a lot of value in reciprocity because it does feel good to receive love. It's not a tit for tat for me. It's like, if you know this is what you like to receive, do the same. So that's the way that I define reciprocity, being reciprocal in what you do. Not, okay, I did the dishes today, so you're going to do them tomorrow. Or I blew you a kiss while we were over dinner. You got to blow me a kiss too. Like that, for me, is a tit for tat. I made the bed today, so you were supposed to make the bed tomorrow. Like that's tit for tat for me. But if I wake up and I make the bed, and you know that, or you get up and make the bed because you know I'm running late for work, and then I come home, I know I'm going to make sure that the dishes are put away because I know your day is hard. Those are, for me, reciprocal. I'm going to do things for you that you appreciate. I'm not just going to keep taking. I'm going to actually give as well. So for me, reciprocity is just that, right? If you see me with a bag of groceries, don't just watch me walk with a bag of groceries, but come, let me run and get Okay, you went to the store to get the groceries. Let me come out and get them and bring them into the house. For me, that's reciprocity. I'm doing something for you. Do something for me. I'm loving on you, pouring into you. I need you to love and pour into me. Just those type of things. So that goes into the communication and the viewpoint and how we define things. That's why it's important to communicate, because his definition of reciprocity is tit for tat. My definition of reciprocity is pouring into one another because you see the need is there, right? So, but I wouldn't have known that until we had this conversation, right?
And I think what I heard too from what your statement was, is the fact that one of Antoinette's love languages is receiving gifts. So reciprocity, in effect, is a receipt of a gift. So, or an action. So that too ties into loving through, in this case, my spouse's love language. So again, where she identified what I said in terms of tit for tat, she's identifying it as it's receiving a gift or an action. So I received that as well.
Receiving and giving an action, because I'm not receiving 100%. It's like I'm giving as well. Yeah, I think that's important. But we're learning together on how to make this thing work, and we have no rule book. We don't have a manual. Blueprint. There's no blueprint. There's not a whisper of any type of dust that's been landed on us. There's no special sauce in the seasoning packet. Like, there's nothing. We are living and learning this thing day by day, moment by moment, second by second. And we appreciate you guys being with us all the time, learning alongside with us. And we hope that you also are like taking some time to reflect, and if you guys have mastered this thing, please share that with us. Email us and let us know, like, look, I feel like we have this God, family, career, or this our structure is this way and this works for us, or our relationship works for us. I do want to get my cousin Siobhan. I so want to get her on the show and join us, her and Nate. Their relationship is absolutely beautiful. They have their family is gorgeously blessed, right? And they have a union that works for them. And I have admired their union for so long. And I would love to have them on our shows just so that they can share exactly how they have made it work for so long. And they're totally committed to their love. They're totally committed to their family and the prosperity of their family. And it's not, when we talk about love is not cookie cutter, right? And everyone's experience is so different. So if you feel like you have some things down pat, or maybe not, that you want to share out with our audience and with Sean and I, we are open to it. We are excited to hear from other couples and some things that we may be falling short on. We love to hear from others that can download into us to make us better for not only us, but our children as well, and their relationships.
And through this, again, as far as full transparency, we have 3 more debts to pay off. So we're asking you for your continued prayers that we stay on a gazelle intensity. Again, we have one account that should have been paid off in June. Again, but we have some priorities to reestablish so that we can get these things done. And again, it's summertime, you want to travel, you want to do this and do that. But again, there's opportunity too for us to knock these things out and stay committed to our goal of being debt free in 2022. So that's 2021. That's a year from now.
Yep.
So we have to be intentional about that thing. So I'm speaking it into existence because I believe these 3. I believe you think it, you speak it, you do it. So think it. What's your goal? You speak it and or write it down, and then you do it. So, again, just in terms of full transparency being part of our journey, and that's part of it. We started out long time ago talking about becoming debt free. We're almost there, but again, I don't want to slow down in terms of our goals. So please keep us lifted in prayer in that direction as well.
So in closing, what areas do you need to improve on in your marriage? This was episode 37, Give Love Daily. Is it making your spouse a priority? Maybe it's being affectionate with your mate, or just maybe finding a shared activity that you can do together to build your friendship. Just like any other episode, we end with this: it's not ours to keep, right? So we definitely thank you for watching the Forever in a Day show with Sean and Antoinette McDonald of Forever in a Day Publishing, where we focus on God, family, career, and finances. Please feel free to check us out next week. All right, next week, same time, same place. Might be a different place in the house, or maybe, oh no, next week we will be in North Beach in Maryland for our Parker Gang reunion.
Yes,
but also
on
we
location.
are doing the day before our Chandler family reunion. Come on, that's the 37th.
Absolutely.
What?
So yes,
Yes!
the 37th annual Chandler family
Chandler
reunion.
family reunion. So we're doing both family reunions next week. It's going to be crazy. We will be on location. We should do it from the beach. I don't know if it's going to be windy or loud, but we'll figure it out. Please be sure to send us an email at faadpublishing@gmail.com. Check us out in our previous episodes, especially in this series, this daily series, on our Facebook page, which is the Forever in a Day Facebook page, Twitter, and Instagram. All right. We will see you next Thursday. Be blessed. Thank you for joining us, and may God continue to keep you.
We love y'all. Take care. Be safe and healthy. Remember, we need that song, because you'll hear me sing every week. The